Thank you for tuning in to the Failed Podcast. I am your host, Sam Esquivel. Here at the Failed Podcast, we focus on failures and challenges that our guests have experienced. Along the way, they've learned lessons, and our hope is that you learn from their lessons. And if you're facing challenges, maybe one of our guests can encourage you to keep going. Through the power of conversation and asking the right question, we hope to leave you with insight and wisdom that can help you face your failures and your challenges. On behalf of the Failed Podcast, thank you for listening. And now we want to welcome our guest, the Osos Golosos. Guys, how are y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming on. I've been trying to set this up for a minute. How's everyone doing?
Good, man.
Doing pretty good. Pretty relaxing Saturday for me, at least.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's good to relax on Saturday. Sometimes it's hard because we fit in all of our chores and stuff we can't do during the week, but I'm glad to hear that. We'll start from over there. Introduce yourself. I know y'all have some nicknames, but y'all have, the names that your parents gave you. Tell us who you are on the
government names.
My government.
And tell us who you are in the real world.
My name is Grizzly. My real name is Jose Macias. It's just your average Mexican, just out here, just grinding out, man. Just basically what it is.
I love it, man. You're Chicano, man. He's saying.
Oh, yeah.
Chicano.
We have this argument every day. It's different.
The Chicano or Mexican?
Yeah.
Chicano. It's a tough one. Well, I might ask y'all, because I need some resolve when it comes to those two terms as well. I think they separate people. I said, let's just get rid of them, and we're Latinos, and let's roll, man. I think we're stronger together. But anyways.
Sure.
Grizzly, we have Grizzly, and then we have Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost. What's up, everybody? It's Elias Hernandez.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming by. And
Don Juan. What's up, everybody? I'm Juan. Juan Galvan.
Just forget your last.
So
pretty easy.
Yeah, so here on the Failed Podcast, what I want to do is to tell people's stories, see where they came from. I know there's some encouraging things in your life that maybe you haven't had a chance to share. This is the chance, all right? So I'm going to start. You're going to be last, bro, because you talk the most on your podcast. So we're going to, not joking. And then you're second.
All right.
And Elias, you're at the end, but I'm very interested in you. When I had to thank you for the invite guys in here, Lyrical, I focus on Lyrical. I talked to him a little bit more, and he tends to be a little bit quiet, but he has obviously a lot to say. Obviously, he's a writer, and he raps and stuff. And so I had a good time talking with him. So I'm going to focus in on you right now. Tell me a little bit about your younger life when you were young, where you were born, some of your early years. Just how was it? What was it like for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was born in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
In a little city called Mishawaka.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, not right here at all.
Nah, it's land of the corn, bro.
Oh, really? Open fields and plains.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then, I was raised in Mexico, actually, for like the first 5 years.
Really? Okay.
Actually, 4.
How's your memory about that?
Don't remember much of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I do remember, like, we used to live, like, next to, like, it was like a cornfield, too. But we used to live, like, in what they call cerros.
Yeah.
Right there.
What's that mean in English?
Like little hills.
Little hills, okay.
Like in the hills.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to school over there, or you came over here when you went to school?
I went to first grade over there.
First grade, and then you came over here. When you came over here, what was that like? What was your school? What were your friends like? Because that transition can be a bit tough.
It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary, bro. Like my first time coming here, to be honest, bro, I've never seen like African Americans.
Yeah.
Never. Mm-hmm. And I was like on the verge of 5, if not already. But first time I got here, I saw my first African American when I was in school. And I started crying. I got scared. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. And I didn't know no English at all. So that's what.
Got it.
That's what, like, I guess scared me the most. I was like, I didn't understand nobody.
Well, it's interesting because new places, new people intimidate so many people.
Yeah.
And the people who can kind of like jump across communities and cultures, it seems like you learn a lot more. So as you grew up, even though you had that fear, when did you see it start going away? When did you develop friendships with other cultures that kind of helped you understand and say, okay, maybe I was a little wrong when I was little. I didn't understand.
I guess once I started learning a little more English, once I got to know people and I actually just get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Now, did y'all grew up knowing English right off the bat?
Yeah.
Like English was your first language?
Second.
English was mine as well, but I learned English. So I don't even know what that feels like to learn English, you know? Like my parents came over here, I can't even imagine. They were already older and they had to learn English.
Yeah.
And they did somehow. And so, so jump up to middle school. Tell me some of the challenges maybe that you faced growing up that you feel benefit you now, that make who you are today.
From middle school?
Or just your younger self.
I don't know, I guess just being friendly to everybody.
So you were pretty friendly?
Yeah.
You had a lot of friends. That's good. I like that.
Honestly, when I think about it, I was like, I didn't think I had that many friends, but yeah.
Yeah. You got along.
I got along with everybody.
I like that, man.
At least anybody who wanted to give me a chance.
Yeah. Grizzly, tell me a little bit about when you grew up, where you grew up, how was it? What were some of the like traumatic experiences that you had when you were little, or was it just all was it all nice?
Well, when I grew up, I grew up in the south side of Fort Worth, so I was I had family members that were in that gang life and stuff, so I had to grew up seeing that. Like I said, when we first met, I had a mom that was sick up my whole childhood and stuff. So I would say it was all right. It's just I had to grow up quick, in order to survive on my own and stuff. But it was pretty. Besides that, everything was pretty cheesy.
People always say they needed to grow up quick. Like I hear interviews and all these people on TV. I had to grow up quick. What does that consist of? What did you have to do? And the reason I'm asking is because there's some people that are watching and maybe their kids don't realize, hey, I'm having to grow up quick, and you have to give up kind of your childhood if you grow up quick.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that maybe looking back now you're like, man, why was I doing that? And I know looking back it helps. But what were some of the things that you had to do that you knew kids weren't doing your age?
Oh man, I had to learn how to cook for myself, clean the house.
Yeah.
I had to go work with my dad at an early age. Just not really having the chance to go out or do normal kid stuff.
Yeah.
I would do that for a little bit, but as soon as that happened, I had to switch it up and you know what?
Yeah.
It's time to support or help out the household basically.
Got it. How old were you when you were working, and what type of work were you doing?
I think I started working with my dad at 12, 13, and it was in construction with bricklaying, masonry work and all that stuff.
Yeah, boy, you got in it hard, man.
Yeah.
Do you remember being mad? Do you remember just not knowing any different?
Oh man, I was mad, man, because that work is hard, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, why am I doing this? But then I was like, I had to switch it up. Nah, I gotta help out somehow.
Yeah. And looking back, you did it for a moment. You were helping the household because you had to grow up quick. What respect did it help you get for your dad? Because you got to see him at work, and a lot of people don't get to see their dads at work.
Yeah, I would say it's I have the most respect for my pops because having to work hard every day and then still having to come home to take care of my mom and take care of us too.
Yeah.
He still taught us lessons. I think the most thing that I liked was him teaching me lessons while we're working. Gave me life lessons or just telling me, hey, sometimes you got to sacrifice some of the things to get where you need to go.
Yeah.
So that's really stuck with me too. So
I like it, man. Juan, tell me a little bit about your growing up. I know on your last episode, you mentioned that you were pretty sheltered for a long time and that you started branching out when you got to college. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But there's some good, there's some bad in that. But tell me a little bit about how you grew up and what you remember when you were young.
Well, growing up, I was really influenced by my older cousins and my sisters, kind of branching away from what I considered to be real traditional. So I was really into rock and really into kind of that kind of scene of music, and really music helped shape kind of my influences, my ideas, and just kind of gravitate me towards kind of really enjoying that side of media. And I was able to kind of take it in and really absorb it all and learn a lot from it. So Jose said, kind of growing up fast or on your own.
Yeah.
I felt that way in a little bit. Mostly because my parents mostly were working the entire time.
Yeah.
My dad owns his own company here in Fort Worth, Galvan Floors. Shout out to them.
There you go. There's a plug. There you go.
But he was the head honcho. He was busy all the time, and my mom was there, supporting him. The same thing. So a lot of it was just kind of like, I was kind of left with my sister to for them to take care of me. So a lot of it was, I still felt kind of like isolated in a way, but it didn't stop me from branching out and kind of like being like in the life, like real friendly. Like I can honestly say, like, a lot of people have told me, like, they've known me for a long time, and they valued how friendly I am with them and stuff. So I always regurgitate that with them as well, because I kind of learned to value every single moment and experience that I meet with people, because of how little time we actually have in this world.
It goes by in a flash, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And learning that kind of like made me realize, like, you can't always be upset at a small thing when the next day something terrible might happen.
I hear you.
So it's important to kind of like move forward.
So right now in this culture, like hustle mentality, everybody wants to be a business owner, and they're like, I want to start my own business, and it almost seems easy. Like, people say it like it's nothing, and it's not a negative, but you obviously mentioned your dad had a business and he was busy all the time, and not only was he busy, but your mom was right next to him.
Yeah.
And so he was absent from the house, in a sense. I'm not saying it in a negative way. And
No, not at all.
People don't realize that, like, whenever you're building something big, you're busy, bro. Like,
absolutely.
Something has to give. There just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
So how do you see entrepreneurship, considering how you saw your parent, your dad? Because you could have easily say, like, man, I wish he was home more, but then you would have had to sacrifice some of the luxuries that come with owning a business. Tell me some of the challenges that you face because your dad was so busy running a business.
Really, I guess the biggest one would kind of being under his shadow. I'm the son, I'm the junior. Everyone kind of expected the same thing from me, and it was just kind of hard to keep up, right?
Got it.
And like, I love my dad to death, and he's taught me so much, as much as like when it comes to being professional and really like inspiring me to just keep trying, keep working hard. So I feel like the best thing that I've gotten from him is his hard work. Even though sometimes I myself might not think it, but I started to see it more when it came to podcasting, and at least for me, because the way how you said hustled, going about his work and nonstop, that's how I feel about what this media and what it means to me.
Yeah.
And like because I think the biggest thing that kind of like separated me from what my dad does is just like, I enjoy working for him, but that doesn't necessarily mean I loved working like that kind of job.
Got it,
right?
got it.
And so I was like, I don't know how he can. I never really like put it into perspective of how can he continue to do this and have this love for it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm doing this and I'm seeing the hours that I'm spending, the time like editing and organizing and making everything look kind of like perfect or like the way I want it. Yeah. Now I see and kind of like appreciate that.
You understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dad's been doing the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but for working for a company for 35 years. Like, you don't hear that nowadays. And I always wondered, what gear was my dad on? Now, let me ask y'all guys, how was your mom was sick, but your dad was present. What about your parents? Were both present? Was your mom and dad there? Tell me some things about your dad that you admire, that maybe you've never told them. And here's why I'm mentioning it, especially for people watching. As men, we have a hard time kind of showing love to our dad or telling them some truths. Like, Dad, like, I appreciate you, buying me those shoes. I was such an idiot for asking for them. They were so expensive. Whatever, it could be whatever. Tell me some qualities that you saw in your dad that you hope to kind of also be when you grow up. And as do you have a family now?
Yeah.
You have a family?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No,
not yet. So you do. Like, what has your dad instilled?
I mean, he showed me how to be like basically a man. Like, he's a hard worker. Like, he provides for right now it's like me, my sister, my mom, and him living in the house.
Yeah.
But then my sister comes over too, but she has 3 kids, and he still finds time for like everybody.
I love it, bro.
And I'm like, that's crazy because I dip out. When my sister comes over, I'm like, it's too much noise. I can't, bro. I like the peace, but he showed me how to like.
Your dad knows about quality time.
Yeah, knows quality time. He knows how to be a hard worker. I learned that from him too. Also, like, he's a little bit of a hothead, so
Yeah.
But,
So
I mean,
that was one of the
everybody said-
challenges you had growing up, is that he was a hothead. You always
Yeah,
had to-
you just learn how to like deal with people.
yeah.
So yeah.
Was he a hard disciplinary at home when you were growing up?
No, I mean both of my parents are like that.
Yeah.
They believe in discipline, like hard discipline.
Yeah, my dad was quiet, and boy, he got on me when I messed up because he didn't have time. He didn't have time to mess around with me.
Yeah.
He was leading other men in his job, and so I was just another man. Like if I did something wrong, he'd give it to me hard. And I didn't talk to my dad a lot growing up until now. And so there was a lot of quiet time, growing up with my dad. And people don't realize it, how important it is. And you, luckily, you had some good memories. And how about you? What were some things that your dad has instilled in you, or that you admire about him that you just never told him and you wish you would?
Oh man, I would say like to never give up, cause no matter what he goes through, the situation it is, bro, he always.
I'd say his patience.
Yeah, he has.
His patience is.
That's what I got from him too,
Yeah,
because
his patience is
we
the
have
one.
the patience to where you can test it, push our buttons, and we're just like, hey man, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
So his patience, like Juan said, and his like. It's just his hard work too, bro. I mean, Mexican dads are like really strong. But if I was to tell him something, I would tell him, "Hey, man, I appreciate everything you do, and like, I wish I can return the favor soon."
Yeah.
For like taking care of us and everything.
Now we can't, just give our dads flowers without,
That's not gonna work out. Yeah.
No, we got to talk about the moms. How was your mom in your life? What did she teach you? What challenges did you have, with your mother, and how's your relationship now? And the reason I'm asking these questions, right? Because we're young men,
Yeah.
and people are watching, and a lot of people don't know how to just have a good family, good communication, or how to admire their parents. Man, I see a lot of hate towards parents, and I'm just like, dude, they fed you, man, they clothed you, and so tell me a little bit about your mom and what she's taught you.
Starting with me?
Yeah, we'll start with you.
Looking at me.
He's looking at you.
No, well, my mother, she's a saint. She's a very loving person. She can be hard at times when it comes to her stubbornness, and I think it has to deal with how she was raised in the same household. She had a lead. She was a family of I believe 6. She was the oldest oldest girl.
Yeah.
She has an older brother, but she basically had to raise her siblings as well. So she was tough. She was very tough, very stern, and kind of like the leader of her family. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was a little overbearing a little bit other times. Like I can see that I kind of had, like, growing up, I had this kind of like, she loves me obviously, and I know that she loves me, and I love her too. But it was just kind of like overwhelming sometimes, where she wouldn't like kind of let me go really much anywhere.
You're like, Mama, you love me too much. You gotta let me go.
And like, again, growing up, I respected it like more so now. But now she like spoils me a lot.
Yeah.
Like because I'm the only son, and it kind of goes with like, oh, mama's boy kind of thing. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of true in my case, because
I understand a little bit more about you now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But yeah, and I mean, my relationship with my mother, I'm thankful that I push it, because before she was like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And now, like, I think when I turned 18 is whenever it flipped.
Yeah.
She couldn't tell me like, oh, you don't do that, don't go with this person, because I was kind of, she saw that I was responsible enough to not get in trouble. Yeah. And that kind of like allowed me to like kind of go out and enjoy myself, really.
Did you have that, Mom, I'm 18, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm going out, you better be home at 7? Yes, Mom. Like, did you have that moment when
not really like a whole situation or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, she would call for like when she's concerned, but I would always tell her like, hey, I'm usually and this was, I really didn't go out like that until I was in college. Yeah. And then when in college, after that, like, there was no saying.
No
really.
holding you back, no.
Yeah.
No,
but
I'm joking.
Now, as an I guess young adult, I talk to her about things that she would have never wanted me to talk to her about. And I bring up like things that I've learned and I've experienced, and I'm able to open up with her a lot more. And I'm thankful for that with both my parents, because I'm able to kind of feel less scared to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like as a grown up.
Communication's good, man. Elias, tell me a little bit about your mom and what you admire about her, what she's taught you.
Well, again, bro, she's always been there. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what, like, she's always gonna be there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, even if like you like, you know, like I don't want to curse, but
Like, for instance, if you were to go home after this interview and say, "Mom, I'm hungry," is she gonna make you something to eat? Bam, that's great. That's good.
she's
man.
like, "¿Qué quieres?"
Yeah, yeah.
Or I just go home like, "Hey, what's there to eat?" You know, I just go work, come home, and then after that dip out. But she's always been there. Like, no matter how like many times you messed up, she's always just gonna be there.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, basically your best friend.
I love
And then
it,
it's
bro.
like, it's weird, like, especially for my sister. Like, she's went through stuff, so
So she's been there for your sister. You got to see that.
yeah, we've all did.
Yeah.
But
I love it. Grizzly?
Oh man. So like I wouldn't say this to everybody. So if you have your mom, man, I would need you to cherish every moment that you had with him. Cause like at any moment something can happen, you know. So my mom passed away like 3 years ago, and I would say like, man, my mom taught me so much. I guess the biggest thing was just to keep going. So like no matter what you go through, no matter what the situation is, or your health or whatever, bro, just keep on pushing forward and keep on looking to like there's always better days.
Yeah.
So like she saw when she was in the bed and the sick and stuff, so like she had saw like the St. Jude's commercial of all the little kids and stuff, and she was like, man, these little kids have it worse than I do and stuff. So it was like so that gave her the motivation to keep on going and stuff.
Yeah.
So that she always taught me to be to always keep going, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Like no matter what life throws at you, just to always look ahead of the next day.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all sharing. That was a little bit more on the serious side, but you know, I think it's important because I'm watching your podcast, and you know, sometimes y'all have me laughing. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't have permission to listen to not Jeffrey. And so I'm just trying to spotlight like the human side of y'all, because y'all fun, and dude, it's crazy. But thank y'all for sharing that. I think it's important for us as we're podcasters, for people to kind of hear our, you know, what we're like and where we came from and how we grew up. So let me ask y'all another question. A lot of funny stuff happens in our first few jobs, or maybe our first job, right? Obviously, we know what you did, and we know that you probably worked for your dad, but first job where you had to work for someone. What was that first job, and what was a funny or challenging experience that you had at that job?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I just looking. I kind of just re-jump.
No, so I started working at Brooks Brothers when I was in college, and that was that first job where I honestly was. I mean, wasn't working for a family.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really enjoyed that job a lot because it was. I mean, it was retail. It was tough. We actually just made a couple clips about working retail, so we kind of have a good background on it. But that job, it was just kind of like random. It was a very professional company. It's like, think of Polo, but a little bit more expensive. And so it was kind of a high standard
now I know
of a clothing. Brooks Brothers. And so the people who actually like work there just weren't the people you expected to work at that kind of retail. You know, and it just made me feel so comfortable. A lot of situations that happened, it was so funny. For me, I was the only one that really spoke Spanish in a building full of Hispanics.
Got it.
Yeah. And this was basically, coconuts and nopales, cara nopales that I call them. So it was often like, it was fun because I was supposed to be inventory, so in the back, kind of just stocking and stuff. Yeah. But they had to like, hey, come over here, we need your help, you know, and it was like, and it's funny because everyone else was Hispanic, but they don't speak Spanish. And this is kind of in the San Antonio, Austin area. Yeah. So it's just shocking to me, and realizing that like all the way up here is where mostly people actually speak Spanish, at least Hispanics. Over there in that area, not a lot of people do.
Oh, okay.
And so I was able to kind of interact with the customers a little bit more friendly, and there was a lot of customers coming in from internationally, so I was able to kind of just hear their side stuff. And so I would be the one kind of like chismeando amongst people who only spoke Spanish. which was funny, like to me, because like you would hear things that you didn't want to hear. I was speaking to actually, and it's funny because I explained this to my mom, and I was telling her about all these things that like I was like, people just opened up and started pouring out their life story to me, and I was like, I'm just trying to do my job. Like I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How about y'all? First job, something funny or a challenging experience?
I used to work at the movie tavern called Cinema Latino. That was like my first job ever, bro.
So it's a movie theater.
Yeah.
How was it?
The one in the Gran Plaza?
Dude, I worked there when it was a long time ago. I worked at that theater. It was $1. I think it was crazy, bro. I'm just saying, like we made a mess in there. That's all I got to say.
We did too.
When it was Town Center, man, I was in there, and it was the coolest place to work because all my friends would show up on the weekends. They would all come in for free. Like it was a
free movies.
I would climb on the roof through the movies and walk around the mall on the roof. And then the arches in there was holes on them because it was just like and I could look down and it was so crazy, bro. But it's funny that you worked in that same building.
Yeah, apparently that Cinema Latino's haunted by a little girl or something.
Yeah. The little girl never scared me, but I was there, bro. And I have to say, man, it was fun, man. If you're young, you looking for your first job at movie theaters, pretty fun. It's crazy. It's long hours and stuff, but it's fun.
Like straight out of school, just come over here, sweep some popcorn.
Yeah, sweep
a lot of buttery smells.
Yeah, but you would find stuff on the floor, man.
Yeah,
everything would fall out of people's pockets. Like, and you're sweeping, and you're just like, okay, no one's can see it. No one's okay. And then, dude, watches,
pocketed, bro.
Money, just anything. It would be on the floor. It'd be a mess, but whatever.
It's a tip.
Yeah, it's a tip, man. Wesley, how about you? First job, something you learned, something funny.
My first job was Domino's. Outside of like family work.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had to work with some friends and stuff, so it made it kind of fun. I think the worst thing, bro, that I did not like about it was customers complaining about the littlest stuff, man, or like just to say shit just to get free stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, nah, bro. That's one thing I didn't like. I didn't like getting yelled at by random people, and like hearing people complain about the most smallest stuff.
Yeah. What are some significant experiences that y'all have had in your life? Okay, dig deep, that have shaped you in who you are today. Okay. And I'll let you think about it. For instance, when I was like 15, I got in a really bad car wreck. My car flipped. It threw me out. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Trust me, it changed my life. You know, when both of your grandmas show up from Mexico, it's serious. So I remember I was like, oh, there's one Wilita. Okay. There's two. And I was like, something's going on, right? Yeah. So that was something big that happened with me. Yeah. And I look at life different after that, you know? So can y'all think of something that y'all went through that's kind of shaped you and who you are today?
Well, I guess it's kind of the same as yours, but I fell out of like a truck while I was working at FedEx.
Really? Do tell. Details.
We both can tell you. He was there.
Yeah, we're together at that part.
They were.
So one of you was driving, you were on the passenger or something? You turned or you flew out or what happened?
Yeah, the back door, the back gate opened up and I was like right there. Let's just say I was right there and ended up like slipping out the truck while it was moving.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'd say like a good 25 miles.
Yeah, we were moving.
You were driving?
Yeah.
So y'all really close. Y'all really close.
Yeah.
What did you learn from it, man? What did you learn? I mean,
well, a lot.
We're laughing now. Were you mad at him?
I was knocked, bro.
You got knocked out?
I was in the hospital for a good 3-4 days.
What?
And I was out of work for a good 2 months.
How did you feel, bro? That's pretty,
I felt bad. I felt bad, but I was like, so like whenever he felt like, because I was driving, took a stop sign, took a turn, and then that's when I guess whenever he had slipped out. But I think the most thing that I felt bad because like I was the one, like I took him to the hospital. I was like, hey bro, you need to stay up, you know what I'm saying, because that way you don't fall asleep. Took him to the hospital, checked him in, and then just waited for like his family to get there. That was like the most hardest thing. It's like, dang, his family's gonna be mad at me, bro.
No, they were. You told me they were.
They were mad. I was like, dang. I was like, well, hey, I'm gonna dip out because I know this is y'all's case now, but and I'll just check up on him and see how he was.
Dude, you had to. Oh my God.
But the craziest part is like, I don't know how long I knocked out. I think it was a couple of seconds. But when I woke up, like this eye looked like I was cracked.
Yeah.
That was weird. I was
Like,
like,
it's had a line in there or something.
yeah, like a whole squiggly line. Like, and this side was, I couldn't see nothing, and this one I could. I was like, whoa.
But you're good now. You're 100.
Yeah, I'm 100%. Something like that. But
You're so mean, bro. You're so mean, man.
And then I like some guy. I think some guy actually stopped and said, "Hey, you're good." I was all like messed up. I was all like injured. I was like, I just hobbled myself off the road. I was in the road. It was like a little highway.
Yeah.
And then I got my phone. That's when I called him. I was like, "Hey, bro, come back for me."
Yeah.
Your truck feel light? Yeah, come back and get me, bro.
Yeah. But I ended up going to the hospital like in Denton.
Yeah.
So my whole family, like a lot of people went. I was like, I don't expect none of y'all to be here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But everybody thought like I got in a motorcycle accident.
Got it. No one hit you, luckily. You fell out.
Luckily, bro.
Yeah, so
it could have been worse.
You.
Yeah.
And then the first time I saw him, I was like, "Hey, bro, it's all good. Don't worry about it." And he couldn't look at me in the eyes.
I know. I mean,
it was
that's
hard,
tough,
bro.
I was
man.
like, "Bro,
It's
don't
like-
worry about it. It's okay."
Just so you know, I've never pushed a friend out of a car. Just, and just very few people did that.
Yeah.
It takes a certain kind of individual.
That's what makes our bond stronger, man.
I know. Behave, bro.
Yeah.
Remember.
I'll do it again.
Remember.
Do it again.
It was like the Lion King scene.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you? Something, I mean, that's pretty traumatic, but
Yeah.
maybe something else that has taught you a lot, you know, that happened in the past.
Man, I don't know. I would kind of say like like a sibling related. So they veered off in another direction and stuff, you know, doing, you know, all these drugs and stuff, and like their mentality is different from mine. I would say just seeing how they would act and like do stuff, I'm like, man, that's no way to live life, you know? So like that just kind of made me think of my life can't be just this. You know what I'm saying? Like our lives, our livelihood cannot just be, we can't live to this stigma of like, you know, growing up in the South Side, growing up in the hood and see how everybody lives like. So I had changed my mentality. I was like, I'm not gonna live like this. This ain't no life to live like, you know? So I think that just made me just put a realization to push myself to be better.
It's so easy to just match what everyone's doing when you're growing up. Like, who did Dare? You know that program Dare? Did they help you, or how did you get that in your head? Like, dude, they're doing it. It looks like fun. Everyone's, you know, they have the girls and they're cool or whatever. You know, the way we see it when we're young. Mm-hmm. Who told you, or how did you have that instinct to say, yeah, I don't want to do that? Like, that's definitely a dead end.
Nah, just the way. Just seeing people around them and then around the area and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to fit in. I don't partake in that. Like the lifestyle is cool and all, you know, it's fun, but it's not really. It's not for nobody, bro. You know, like just recently I had a conversation with my brother, and now he's like, he's on the right track now. You know, so I'm very thankful for that. We had that deep conversation that was needed and stuff. So now he's doing a lot better. But I just told him, I was like, man, I had some very good role models growing up. And so I hope you don't take offense to it, but y'all taught me how not to live life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you hate to be that role model, but
yeah. But they're tough. They tough, bro. They tough.
Yeah. Something significant that happened in your life that shaped you today?
I think throughout my life, I've experienced a lot of funerals and deaths. Like both family and friends, and it's kind of made me, like how I said earlier, like just appreciate the time that I have with everybody that I know. And I think my cousin said it best. He's like, Juan will be so busy that, you know, you can't, like, he can't do this or that, but if you invite him to something, and he'll make the time to try to go. And I that's exactly how I feel. Like, where if you invite me to something, I will go. I will try my best to go if I'm able to, or, you know, if it's not interfering with anything that I'm, like, you know, kind of focused on, because just a little time that we have here is just something that I really value.
Valuable.
I've lost quite a bit of family, a couple friends, both to suicide or just an accident, and it just kind of helped. It not helped, but, you know, it shaped me to kind of realized, you know, the important thing of life is to value that time.
Yeah.
Is to value time itself.
Well, okay, guys. We got a little.
That's why we left.
Thank you, man. That's why we have fun. So the Osos Golosos podcast. Let's jump. We're gonna go ahead and just jump forward. You know, you got to be creative. You got to be confident to do this podcast thing. So I want to kind of explore that. There's a lot of people who want a podcast right now, and there's a lot of people who are going to fail. There's a lot of people that are going to do it, and y'all do it with 3 people. Like, to me, that's so hard. You know, I don't know how I don't know how y'all do it, or the groups that do it with 4 or 3 people. It just seems difficult. Tell me how y'all came together. What was that like night where y'all like, man, I'm bored, man. Like, y'all want to do a podcast, man? And then
It was kind of like that.
It was kind of like
how did it happen? How did you come to the name? And then we're going to kind of explore creativity and then your dynamic as a group.
I mean, I would say like it was more like a group effort. So like we said, we were just chilling and we were like, man, you know, it'd be cool to start would be like a podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Juan had said like, hey man, I'm actually getting into it and stuff. So like I can get all the stuff. I was like, me and Elias were like, you know what, we're down. Yeah. But I would say the one thing like that's really important about us is just the chemistry, and like you have to flow with each other. So each one of us have our own little characteristic, and we bounce off of each other because of that. So, and like I think just being like close and connected to people, I think that's what really helps our little.
Well, let me put that to the test. What are their characteristics, and then you tell me what theirs are, and then you're going to tell me what theirs are. Okay. Hopefully, y'all just don't copy each other. Right. What are their characteristics? What do they bring to the group from your perspective?
Well, he's nonchalant, so he doesn't really care about anything. He's just like, you know, whatever happens, happens. And he's a little bit more serious, but like once you poke at him and get his little funny side out, then it starts popping out. You know.
Yeah.
That's why we because we need that serious in the group. Because if not, it would be everywhere. Right?
And that's Juan. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you? How would you describe your co-host?
I describe Juan like the father figure. He tells us what to do.
Yeah.
And then what the fuck? And Grizzly will how would I describe you? Well, I guess I've been knowing him a lot, so it's just like a brother. I guess it's like a family, basically.
Yeah. So you just he's comfortable sitting next to him.
Yeah, I'm just comfortable sitting next to both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
I would say Elias is very like you'll get gold out of him, and he won't know it. He won't know that he just gave you gold.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the best thing about our show.
Yeah.
Is that like you know, we work all 3 in individually, like because a lot of times like it's Grizzly and me trying to kind of go back and forth about being funny, and then Elias will just be funny, and it's like whoa, like, you know, and it's just so it just makes our group function much better. And when Grizzly, he's very direct and very stern, and I like that a lot because it's kind of different from me and Elias. Jose will speak his mind, and that's what we need.
Yeah.
The
Osos Golosos. How did y'all come up with the name? Translate it for people watching. What does it mean in English?
It basically means sexy bears.
Yeah. No explanation needed. Let me go to the next question. I was gonna help people. No. Okay, so the Osos Golosos. Was it a combined effort, or did someone come up with it? How do y'all collab, to come up with to make a decision with 3 of y'all at the table?
I think that was kind of hard.
We pitch it and catch it.
Yeah. I think at the beginning we were just throwing out names, and I just because I was in charge of the programming and all that stuff, so I was like, well, I don't want to be corny, you know. I want it to be us. I want to be fresh. Yeah. And you know, Grizzly has had his nickname for the longest time, Grizzly, and so I think you said that you've been called an Oso before or something like that. No,
my nickname changes with years, bro.
Well, I just kind of was like, oh, well, what can we do? And I just kind of put Osos, but I was like, well, I don't know what word with it, Osos, the 3 Osos. I'm like, no, that sounds kind of dumb. Yeah. And then I was like, well, Osos Golosos kind of rhymes and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Yeah, it's kind of really true.
Yeah,
you know?
Okay,
super true. Yeah.
And so it just kind of fit, and I brought it up to them, and they were just like, yeah, I like it a lot. I was like, are y'all sure? I was like, because I'm very and what's it called?
He likes to make sure.
I triple check everything, or I'm very insecure when it comes to my decision.
You're right. Never mind.
Yeah,
it wasn't on a good term. No. It's from certain community.
What are some of the biggest lessons that y'all have learned? How many podcasts y'all started in? I wrote down 2021.
Yeah, 2020. No, 2021. I would say
long time. I mean, that's pretty good. Y'all got a lot of episodes. Y'all been working together for a while. What the beginning to now? What are some of the things that y'all have learned? We'll start with you that you've learned doing this, because it seems like it's out of your element. Like you seem kind of quiet, and you say if you're a man of few words, but you get them laughing when you do speak. So what have you learned from podcasting?
I guess what I've learned is like how to work around people. Like what they offer, work with it, and kind of like stir it together.
Yeah.
So there's that, and also like I'm still learning to this point, but I'm learning more on the programming side, like how to do things.
What do you enjoy about podcasting the most, and what do you feel like I want to improve in this area? And I'm going to ask y'all the same thing, so get loaded up.
Well, what I enjoy most is like just spending time with them.
Yeah.
To be honest, like we just like spending time with them, and then what I need to improve is put a little more effort in there,
Yeah.
Because my effort sometimes is just
really.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's a little too.
You got to identify it before you can start to adjust it. So I'm glad you're saying it here. Stay tuned, because the Osos Golosos level is going up, right? Okay, how about you? What have you learned about podcasting? How has it made you better? And what do you feel like maybe you need to work on, or what you excel at?
Oh man, I think, like I said, quality time with them is very. I like it a lot, and it's crazy how it can connect you to other things.
Yeah.
So like I've recently, I've been reaching out to like other podcasts, like, hey, but we already heard of you. Like we would like to connect and sit down with y'all and actually talk and stuff. But I just think time, time is very, very like one of the things that we have to hit on. Like, hey, like we've changed the dates of getting together or recording times and stuff that, just to modify it to each other's schedule and stuff. But man, I just love spending time with the boys and just meeting new people. I think that's the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yeah.
Well, first I gotta shout out to Jesus from with TATI, because he's the one. I produced their show, so I started with them. That's how I started doing podcasting, by helping them out. I started editing, and then it kind of that's whenever I brought it up to Jose. I was like, hey, I'm getting into it, so I would love to help you guys out. And what really helped me with podcasting is that, like, being able to speak and opening up my conversation, like vocabulary, and just not being stuck on a word or anything, or opening up a very open conversation. I'll say that, because sometimes you won't get that from people, and it's kind of dull. And I'm looking more to understanding people on a personal base, and I really enjoy doing that, and I'm really enjoyed doing that with these guys, because we'll laugh, we'll riff, but whenever we'll really get into a serious note, I mean, you just said it, like that this last episode was a lot different. Is that something that I want to hear? I like hearing, because it means we're growing, we're getting a lot more intimate, and I think it's very, very good for our show.
What advice would y'all give to someone who wants to start a podcast?
Don't do it.
And don't do it, man.
No, bro, just go for it, bro.
They're in a group. What do you wish someone would have told you that you had to learn on your own, or just through the group?
I would say learn to take criticism. I'll say that. Because you won't know if you sound bad, and none of your friends and family will tell you that. And it's important to do
you
that.
ask them, you good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Mijo, you're good.
Oh, you sound good. They're laughing in the back.
Yeah.
Idiot. Man, look at
And then also just kind of learn from your mistakes. Like, you're going to have those days where like me, I didn't hit record a couple times, or some of the audio was corrupted, and this and that, someone couldn't make it, whatever. It's about learning from your mistake, and just keep going. Don't stop, because when you stop, you let your foot off the gas. That's whenever you kind of fall apart.
How about what are some of the challenges or mistakes that y'all had in the podcast that y'all had to overcome?
You go ahead, bro.
Being on schedule.
So have you ran late? They have had to adjust for you?
Nah, adjusting not too much, but I get there late most of the time.
Well, okay, Elias, let me ask you this. What are some of your goals as being a part of this group? Because y'all got some legs. Y'all got some consistency. Like if someone hears the Osos Golosos, they can binge watch your stuff and really get to know you guys. So what are you thinking for the group, you being a part of it for the future?
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully we get like a lot more viewers. Once we start doing that, we can focus on like kind of like what our target audience is going to be.
Yeah.
That way we found out what to hit, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
That way we can just focus a little more on that. And once we start doing that, we can start expanding slowly towards everybody else.
Now, whenever you hear the word communication, because he was mentioning learning vocabulary, communicating well, being able to like just communicate with someone and bring the better out of them or whatever. Yeah. How do you feel about communication? When you started to now, has it improved? And how has your confidence been built when it comes to communication?
That's about the same. And my communication actually got better whenever I started working at FedEx.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I wasn't bad at it, but I was shy, but once you have to do it for work, so you have to get over it. Like, bro, get over it, and you'll be all right.
How many do y'all consider your communication skills? Let's say 0 is like bad, 10 is like super good. Where are y'all in that scale?
I would say I'm at like a 4.
A 4, okay. 5.
I would say a 6.
6, okay.
Because I talk too much.
You talk too much. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm glad that y'all said. I thought y'all were all going to say 10. And no, here's what I'm saying. For people that are watching, you're watching and you're thinking, these guys, man, their confidence, for communicating is high. And you're doing this that's average or below average, except for my man here. You got 6, right? You give yourself a 6, but still, it's not really high. But you're just committed to the craft, and that's what keeps you going. And so sometimes people need to hear that. Yeah. Just because you're not like amazing at something, it shouldn't stop you from doing it. Yeah. So I want to just say that I love that you shared those numbers, and I think it's important because I like to encourage people to step into their creativity or their hidden talent, but they might not be good at it in the beginning. So those first steps, it's hard. Yeah. And so there you go, man, a 4, a 5, and a 6. And so
yeah, we're talking about what's it called, belt sizes.
So
40, 15, and 60.
Okay, I'm going to ask y'all some more deeper questions, and then we'll just see how it goes. Okay, we'll start with you, and if you feel like you want to answer the same one, go ahead. But I'm not going to ask all of y'all the same one. Okay, what is the most important lesson in life that you have learned?
Oh dang, I would just say just stop being in your turtle shell. Yeah. So like I'm very introvert. I don't talk to nobody unless I'm talking, like I'm spoken to and stuff. So like I have this like real serious look, and then I don't talk to nobody, and like unless you talk to me, and then I'm wide open, So I learned to like, hey, you gotta engage the first conversation, go up to people and talk to them, because that's out of my comfort zone. I don't do that at all, But like I said, like Elias said, working at FedEx has helped me kind of like break it open, because we have to see people every day, ask for signatures, go to stores. We have to deal with certain
situations too.
Yeah, and I think just they helped me just break out of my shell, man. To be honest.
Yeah, Elias.
No.
Not that. I'm gonna ask you a different one. Okay.
All right, got you.
What do you think the key to happiness is?
Humor, bro. You gotta learn how to laugh. If you don't know how to laugh, you won't be able to overcome anything.
Yeah.
So
I like it. Okay, let me. Do you have a joke? Do you have any jokes?
Oh, no,
you don't have any memorized?
No.
Okay, I just thought I asked. I don't either, but some people are good at telling jokes.
No, I wish I was a comedian, but no.
Juan, what inspires you to create? Because the podcasting platform and what you're doing with the videos and all that, you got to be a creative. First of all, do you consider yourself a creative?
Now I do.
Yeah.
I didn't in the beginning, but now I do.
What inspires you to continue to create?
Just seeing us grow, really, like we eat every day, so we get bigger. I'm just kidding. But no, being able to just kind of have a good time, and to me, this is also a hobby, but also a job that I love, and it inspires me to keep going, and eventually, hopefully, get paid to do this kind of stuff. And seeing that, like, some people do that and still have fun and consider this a job, that's kind of what my angle I would love to kind of go towards.
Yeah.
And just, again, learning more, in more interesting conversations where I can find, new things about myself that I, didn't really understand because I didn't have that perspective, and now I do. So, it kind of stems from, like, how when you ask Jose about, like, what's your biggest advice, is like, being able to just jump in it. Just jump into whatever you're doing, and that's kind of how I felt about podcasting and video stuff, because I was like, well, I better do it, because if not, time is passing by.
Yeah. What do each of you, this is for all of you, what do y'all enjoy doing in your free time? And here's why I'm asking. I like to always preface my questions. A lot of people don't know how to just enjoy free time. It's either working, responsibility, and it's not good for your mental health. Like, you got to be able to pull away and do something you enjoy. Yeah. So what's something y'all enjoy or y'all do in your free time?
Play video games, huh?
Video games? What console? What game are you playing right now?
Console, I mean, it's Xbox, but everybody looks PlayStation. But games I'm playing right now is, like, a new one came out for Xbox. It's Monster Hunter Rise.
Okay. Is it like interactive? You have headphones and you talk with people?
Yeah, you got a whole headset and you buy a party of 4. And then you go and hunt monsters.
How old are you? I'm 40.
Me?
Okay, so there you go. I said it.
I'm 27.
27. Okay, so I wanted to talk about gaming because I've never done the console talking with people. Yeah. Like, when I was growing up, Sega came out. Like, I was playing Sega on a TV, and then the first Nintendo with the 4 buttons or 2 buttons. That's what I was playing, right? And then we grew, and we kind of stepped into Sega, Super Nintendo, and then the beginning, Dreamcast, and the first PlayStation. But it's so different now than it was back then. Did you ever? Have you played the vintage stuff?
Yeah, I played Sega, Nintendo, Dreamcast, not so much.
And how do you feel? What's for you the comparison? Like, is it super boring to play the old stuff?
No, I still love it, but it's all for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because like, me and my cousins would play that a lot. Like, whenever I was younger, that's all we did, just play video games. And we would, like, either I go to their house, they come to my house, or we go to somebody else's house.
Okay, I'm going to do this move, this gesture, okay? See if y'all recognize it. Any of you, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The cassette.
What's that?
Nintendo 64.
That's the Nintendo.
Bro,
you can blow it. Yeah, and then you have to. Okay, so well,
we
anyways,
learned a lot by doing
that.
Oh yeah, we just
free time. What do you do?
I like to work out, bro. I like to kick in the gym. So.
Yeah, I see your Instagram. You're hitting the gym, and I want to encourage you to keep going. What's your goal?
My goal is to be at 250.
250. You getting close?
I lost like 20 pounds since I started. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. When you hit that 250, man, it's going to be a great day. Not only for you, but I think the people that are watching you.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage you.
That's what I tell the girls. I'm like, you better start now, because if not, I'm gonna start acting a fool, man.
Yeah. I get it, man. How about you? Free time. What do you enjoy doing?
I would kind of generalize it and say just doing things in groups. I think that's the funnest thing, whether it's like video games, because I play video games pretty much every day, and like, being able to play a video game together, it just really just heightens the game experience.
Yeah.
I also like to go to concerts. Going to concerts together, honestly, is a lot of fun. I actually learned or decided to go to my first 2 concerts by myself. Different experience. I really enjoyed it, I'll be honest. So it was a very good feeling that kind of like I helped overcome that for myself.
You weren't this is my song.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
Donde está?
I still, I kind of
nowhere to hug.
Exactly. I can't, no one's seeing my reaction. No.
Yeah.
But I learned to, because everyone's there in terms of a concert, like everyone's there for the same reason, to see that artist. So, and in a way, everyone's there together.
Yeah.
So, and then really just because we used to ride motorcycles too. All three of us.
Dirt bikes, road bikes?
Road bikes.
Oh, okay.
And so we, again, riding together was the funnest time, and just being able to conversate, because we had Bluetooth, Santa headsets, so we were just, while on the road and stuff, so it just made the experiences a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable and memorable.
Fun, scary.
Scary too, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, the adrenaline's insane.
What do you think makes a good friend? And we'll start over there, and we'll go this way.
I would say trust. Trust is hard to come by. I can always talk to these guys, and I always know that sometimes they'll beat around the bush, but I always tell them, look, bro, give me to be straight, and they're the ones to tell me, because it's hard to find people that will tell you how it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think that's trust is like the big thing for me. Once somebody breaks in, then you're dead to me, basically.
I would say loyalty.
Yeah.
Loyalty and honesty, because that's all I need to have a friend.
Yeah.
Anything over that, don't need it.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, I would say being able to stick through the tough times, like whether if it's just situation, a loss, or anything like that, being able to be there for that person or them for you, or just kind of being able to even just give a phone call and talk.
Yeah.
And just talk about whatever. It doesn't have to mean anything, but the important thing is to kind of say, like, hey, we're still in our lives communicating and thinking about that they're doing good in life as well, and I think also, like, when it comes to because I've had friends where they're very petty.
Yeah.
They don't like, oh, you don't hit me up anymore, man. Like, you don't hit me up, or you're always doing things and you don't invite me or anything like that. And it's like, that's that pettiness that I don't like. When it comes to, like, when you realize that, like, everyone's life is moving differently.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of say, like, hey, I'm able to hang out with you and experience something else, and then catch you up, and that's how it should be.
Yeah. What is something that you're most proud of in your life so far?
I would say this podcast for me.
Yeah. All the things I bought with my own money.
By what?
All the things that I bought with my own money, like that I worked for. I'm like,
got it. So your effort and the money, I love it, man.
All
my effort pays off.
All the motorcycles you got.
I would just say my ability to keep my head up and keep a smile on my face no matter the stuff I go through.
Yeah.
So
the Osos Golosos Podcast. Give me the plugs. And I'm going to put them on the description, but go ahead and let everybody that's watching know who you are.
Well, you've heard it from us, Osos Golosos Podcast. You can find us on any podcasting platform, on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, anything like of the sort. We're on YouTube. Just look up Osos Golosos Podcast. On TikTok, you can see our clips at Osos Golosos Podcast. On Instagram, we're at osos.golosos.podcast. Follow us on any of those social medias. Give us a shout out, say what's up. Much love to Sam for having us on. And
thank you guys.
If you guys came from there, give us a shout out.
Any final thought? Anything you want to close with? It? Something funny? Nothing?
I don't got a joke, bro.
No, we're not really like jokesters on the spot. We're just like
that's all
go
good.
off the dome and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything? I'm gonna put you on. Did you learn anything for sitting here today with the Feld Podcast?
Of course, man. I think having a more serious tone version of us is as a breath of fresh air, because we're not used to that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we know how to speak kind of more intimately, but it's nice to have it just us three, sharing it with you.
Thank you guys for coming on. So, guys, I'm going to put the description below. Follow them, listen to them, and just watch their growth, man. We're all from Fort Worth, and we're all trying to do this podcasting thing. So thank y'all guys for coming on. And don't forget, go ahead.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
What have you been listening to this week? Music, podcast,
music-wise?
internet, YouTube.
Look, I have to, because there's
we usually ask that every end of the episode. So I was like, well, let me ask you that.
Yeah, Ina Hossa is she's I think she does radio for in like NPR. So I got her book. And nice. I'm listening to her book. I was trying to find it here, but it's under her name, Maria Hinojosa. So I'm listening to hers because she did a big project and she won these awards, and she just documented a guy's journey being in jail and coming out of jail. And I heard the whole thing, and I was like, she wrote a book. I said, I gotta listen to it. And so that's what I'm listening to right now.
Awesome,
She's a Latina. She's doing it big, and so she's inspiring me right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Best,
Great question.
That's what I need to start doing, bro. Learning.
Huh?
Reading books.
Yeah, reading books. I need to start doing that.
Yeah, dude. It's good.
Get my vocabulary up there.
For real, yeah.
Well, if there's anything that I can do, and I'm putting this on the air, obviously, but to help y'all, whatever, I'm here, and y'all just keep on going, man. Y'all got my support.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate
I
it,
mean,
bro.
Appreciate you.
And this applies to both of us. Give us a follow, give us a like, and share our content. Spread it around with your friends. That helps all of us. And thank y'all. And you know what I always say? We'll see y'all on the next one, guys.
Right.
Good job.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Can't say that here.